Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I have one of the more exciting unboxings, personally for me, that I've ever done on the channel. This is a Spyderco Slysz, I don't know how to say it, I've heard it several ways, Slysz Bowie. Marcin Slysz is the designer. I'm going to have fun with that, I guess, today. Anyways, the Slysz Bowie, let's go with that, is probably the most sought after Spyderco. At least one of the most sought after Spyderco models currently in existence. It was a production knife a while back and was discontinued and became really popular kind of after it had been out for a while, from what I understand. But by the time that I really got into the hobby and started getting into Spydercos, it was already too late. There was no chance of getting one at a reasonable price. These are now drastically more than they were new. I hope that Spyderco will bring them back in some way, even if they use a different blade steel or different color handle or something. I would love to see more of these come back. I say that without even ever having handled one, because I'm pretty confident I'm going to want one. Could be wrong. I don't know. But I had a guy on Facebook in the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club with me reach out and send me a DM that he's got two and is thinking about selling one. So one's kind of his user that he's planning on keeping, and he's thinking about letting go of the other one. And so he offered to send it to me before he sells it. And there's a good chance that by the end of this, I'm going to just pay him what he wants for it and keep it. I might not. I don't know. They're expensive knives. So time will tell. But anyways, he sent this to me to check out, and there's no, I don't have to buy it from him. He was very clear that I can just send it back to him after I'm done, and I can keep it here for a little bit to check out and review. So this is not going to be a knife that I'm going to be carrying and using. It is not going to be a knife that is going to see any real pocket time or anything like that. I'll probably slip it in and out of a couple of pockets while I'm just here in the house, just to see how the clip performs for me, at least going in and out of pocket. But this is not my knife. It's a loaner. It's a very expensive one, and it's very limited. And so if I were to damage it or something, I couldn't just replace it. So let all that be what it is. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bust into it, and we're going to take a look at it. I'm sure the crowd who doesn't like me talking without showing the knives is already going to be real mad about how much time I've spent talking without even opening the box in an unboxing video. How dare I? Anyway, this is the MBK EZC, which is loaned to me by my buddy Kev, left EDC, helping me unbox right now. I just unboxed this right before I started filming this one. So let's get in here and see what we are working with. Alright, so nice and simple, Spyderco box, wrapped in some bubble wrap, it's nice and secure in there. Spyderco Slysz Bowie folder plain. Box is a little bit less than perfect, but that's fine. Alright, so it's wrapped in bubble wrap inside the box, and then it's in the baggie. This looks like exactly what I've seen in photos a whole bunch of times. Very interesting. Alright, so we've got a G10 backspacer. We've got titanium handle scales. Those of you who are fans of Spyderco will already be well aware of this knife. We have a titanium frame lock on the lock side. We have a loop over style deep carry wire pocket clip, which I happen to be a big fan of. And then our blade is CTS XHP. And the finish on it is this kind of mirrored stonewash. Go ahead and make sure it's totally smudge free, and then I'll show you. It's a really pretty blade finish. To take it up to a literal kind of mirrored finish and then stonewash it, just gorgeous. Really, really cool. So, ooh, it does fit in my hand well, that's for sure. Blade shape is gorgeous. You can see my camera. Wow. I like the way the clip feels in my hand, being a loop over wire clip. It's totally comfortable there. It's a little bit slimmer than I had it built up to be in my mind, in a good way. It's a frame lock. It's very smooth. Let's see if I can Spidey flick it. Oh, almost. Hole access is a little bit tough because of the frame lock, but even thumb flicking it, it's a little bit tough. Just the way that the hole is set in here, getting your thumb in, you kind of hit up against the frame there, and then on the back, as you can see, half of the hole is covered, but it feels a little bit more like it's designed to be kind of slow rolled. It's very glassy. There we go. If I get it right with the meat of my finger. Oh, come on. There it is. I can middle finger flick it. And I imagine if this was my knife and I got used to it, then I'd get the muscle memory down. Interesting. So the scales on here are just kind of a stone washed finish. I think it looks pretty good. They do, from what I've seen in pictures, tend to be pretty prone to snail trailing because of this finish. But it looks good. That blade shape is really nice. I love that they've crowned the spine up here. It's kind of nice. So there's this jimping section, right here, and then it's flat, and then it's crowned. So the whole thing isn't crowned, but it's really just kind of the clip point that gets the crowning. It's a nice touch. Very sharp. These, of course, were manufactured in the Taichung factory for Spyderco, as many of their nicest models are. Yeah, this is cool. Alright, well, first impressions, I'll save for another video, because there's a lot that I already am thinking about this knife. But yeah, maybe what I'll do, let's do an initial impressions right out of the box, and then I'll just do a full review, because my full review isn't going to be based on carry and cutting and any of that anyways. So I'll talk about what I'm thinking about this knife right now. Right off the bat, the going price of these, I don't, for myself, yet see the merit of how much they're costing to people now. Like, if you wanted to find one on the secondary, you're probably paying over $500 to get one of these. This does not feel like a $500 plus knife to me. Now, there are other knives that cost that much that also don't feel like they're worthy of it. But this knife originally retailed, I want to say they were around $300. This seems about like a $300 Spyderco to me. In terms of the construction, what's gone into it, the finishing on the blade is great, but the materials and everything, and kind of how simple it is, it's hard for me to see the secondary price being worth it. But it is sweet. The blade shape is definitely, right out of the box, the most captivating thing for me about the knife. I really like the blade shape. What's interesting is, I always liked this knife in photos, but the blade in person just has kind of a different presence to me. I don't know, a little bit different. So yeah, it seems very, very nice. The lockup is what some I think would consider late. If you look at how far that bar has traveled over. This does not have an insert on the lock bar, so it's just, I believe, a carbonized titanium face up against the XHP there. But it locks up solid, and it sounds nice. The sound of that frame lock is like tactile. And then the ergos are, I was worried that the ergos weren't going to feel very good to me. They feel great. They feel really, really good. The jimping up here feels really nice. I'm not usually a fan of jimping. Yeah, weird. My mind is going in a bunch of directions on this. Deployment, if I get it right, feels good. I have to kind of use a little bit of wrist just because of like the placement of the hole. I'm not able to get enough torque on it quite to just flick it all the way out. Let's see if I can get a better thumb flick. Thumb flick works a little better. But this isn't like a fidgety knife, and I like fidgety knives. This is interesting. Yeah, I'm probably more confused about this knife now than I was before it got here. I like a lot about it. But there's also parts of it that are like kind of breaking my rules. Alright, I'm going to leave it there because anything else is just going to make even less sense. So I'll have some more thoughts on this after I think about it a lot more and play with it a whole lot more. And yeah, I appreciate my buddy from Facebook for allowing me to check this out. The Millie PM2 Pair 3 Club is an awesome place. And I really only use Facebook these days for knife groups, and that is my favorite one on there. Cool. So I guess that'll be that. I'll see you guys on the next one, and hopefully I'll have a more concise stance on this knife by the time I'm ready to do my full-ish review. Thanks, guys.